Hello and welcome to week 3 summary, where we covered AI in marketing and finance. And this was a very interesting week in which we went into details of how a lot of companies are leveraging AI, how it possesses certain risks and also makes their business better. We talked about how we can create our own startup and what are the basic considerations to think about when being on that journey. Then the second part, as usual, we covered some Python and we covered NumPy arrays and lists. So we first talked about how JP Morgan, in collaboration with another company, is using natural language processing to mine company reports from the ECB, European Central Bank, and also how Zalando, which was started off as a fashion retail company selling big luxury brands, but now has become more of a tech company, and they even have job roles for AI research scientists, data scientists, and how their business model completely depends upon AI rather than the textile sector or the manufacturing sector. We covered the 3 use cases of AI in businesses: voice AI, for example, customer analytics for call centers. I talked about my own experience working with a tech company where they analyze call transcripts of customers and based on that produce recommender systems for mobile phones. Then there's Vision AI, which is being heavily used by TikTok. IBM, however, refused entry into this market on account of its being highly controversial. Then there's Language AI, which can, basically you can call it use of AI in newsrooms, writing articles using an AI system, GPT-3, and now there's even generating videos, generating images, which we covered in the first class where we saw DAL-E. We also talked about the customer journey and how thinking about the customer journey helps you solve the question about why an AI would help this particular company. We talked about the Disney Magic Band idea in detail and how Magic Band gives the company so much data to leverage to think about new products, and how the path of the customer, where first, let's say if he wanted to buy a sweater, he just knew his need, he went on the internet, searched different options, if not even on the internet, just looked up different shops, then evaluated them and finally purchased them, and if the purchase was good, go back and recommend to someone else. However, now this path is very nonlinear because it turns out you could think that, okay, I have a need, but then your need may be completely redefined by reading some Amazon reviews that, okay, a sweater is not good, maybe a jacket would be good. So we also talked about companies like Unilever and how their real-time tracking of trucks helped them optimize the way in which they were sending the trucks out to the customers. We also talked a lot about Amazon's business model and how Amazon Prime got under a big controversy when one of its algorithms in Boston completely ruled out a low privilege area of Boston, and they did not launch Amazon Prime within that vicinity. And it was said that their algorithm is racist. However, this problem is created when the underlying data that a company uses has an exclusion of that particular set of users. So this is something you have to be very careful about in these days when you are using AI for your business models. And then when we have too much of personalization, using too much of customer data, how you can reveal some information with the customer himself or herself did not want to reveal. We talked about Target's example of when they sent some vouchers and the girl's dad figured out that she was pregnant. Then next was a technical part where we talked about data visualization in arrays. NumPy arrays are very useful construct, even though we know about lists, but the problem with lists is that they are very slow and they occupy contiguous block of memories, whereas this is very, very fast. And for financial series analysis or financial data analysis, this is very optimal to use. I showed you some examples, and we also looked into some aspects of data visualization and how it's important thing in a data scientist toolkit. We talked about matplotlib and looked into some histograms and how histograms can be plotted, and one can be plotted on top of one another, and the bins, and what normed function does. So this will basically you by yourself also try to use, and we covered it in our, I gave you a small task, and that was a tricky task. Basically, you could not have solved it without knowledge of dictionaries, and then week 4 would be covered that. But because I've uploaded this video late, so that's why I'm telling you a little bit about week 4 as well. But this is basically, if you watch week 3 and week 4 in combination, you will figure it out. So thank you. And that was a summary for week 3.